What is up, all you motorheads and bumper bunnies? Today is going to be a really slow day for news-wise, but I found something that I kind of want to get into talking about. Now, it's kind of old news, but kind of new news at the same time, and it has to do with carbon fiber engine blocks and carbon fiber engine components. Now, I don't really know too much about the stability of using such materials for engine components. Obviously, it's very beautiful. You'll love to show it off. Now, I just don't know how it would do in the very aggressive combustion cycle when it comes to a majority of things. So I figured we'd get into and talk about that a little bit today. Again, I don't know much about it other than my experience with using carbon fiber plastics for 3D printing or prototyping certain things. But this seems interesting, and we're going to review a couple things from other people. But before we do, remember, if you like the content here, subscribe, like the video, come back, stay for more, because I'm always going to be putting out videos Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. Tuesdays, 7:30, Thursdays, 7:30, and Fridays right around 4:30. And speaking of today, I'm recording this a little early, but the Bills are about to face off against the Broncos for playoffs, and I'm going to sit down and enjoy the ever-loving hell out of that game. Let's just hope that this ages very well and doesn't age like spoiled milk, because I'm going to be very sad if it does. But yeah, remember to like and subscribe if you like this kind of content, and hell, comment down below if you want to see anything in particular, like any new weird cars being released or any new advancements in the automotive world, because I will definitely want to share my opinion on something like that and or see what they have in store for the future. But right now we're going to hop over to Instagram for a post that I found, and oh, wrong one. There we go. So obviously, as you guys can see, it's a carbon fiber V6. Now, this post comes from Danny Maines about a week ago. And he says, what if the next evolution of engine blocks isn't aluminum or iron, but billet carbon fiber? I've never... So my day job is a CNC machinist. And I've machined materials from like titaniums, nylons, Teflons, weird plastics and stuff like that all the time. I've always been involved with machining exotic materials, but I've never come across billet carbon fiber. I've never heard of it before. I've never seen it been used in any application. So I have absolutely no idea what this is. And again, I've asked some of my buddies who are also in the CNC field and the engineering field, and they've never heard of this either. So I don't know, but let's read the rest of his post. Imagine an engine block that weighs a fraction of aluminum, has near zero thermal expansion, insane stiffness, and doesn't fatigue the way metal does. Carbon fiber doesn't crack like cast blocks, doesn't creep like aluminum under extreme heat, and can be engineered with strength only where it is needed. No wasted mass, faster revs, less harmonics, better ring seals, improved thermal stability, and massive weight reduction, exactly where it matters most. Yes, it sounds crazy. Yes, people said the same thing about billet aluminum replacing iron, and yes, composites already dominate aerospace, F1 tubs, drive shafts, and even pressure vessels. So why are we still pretending engine blocks aren't immune to innovation? Now, I want to see advancement. I really do. I want to see advancement on engine blocks the same way that we've been seeing advancement on every other thing. But this is wild to me. Like, the idea of a billet carbon fiber engine block. Like, I don't know the density of carbon fiber versus aluminum, especially with all that resin in there impregnating all the carbon fiber. But I love the idea of seeing something like this being either prototyped or actually being made. I haven't found anything else anywhere online about this. Like, even when I search up carbon fiber engine blocks, this is the only photo I get. And some talks about F1 investigating the idea. Now, this is really cool. Again, but I'm curious to see how it would be implemented, considering a couple years ago, another YouTuber I like to watch did a video on this type of topic, and it's really strange. But again, I want to see this. I want to see if somebody is willing to actually go and put this into production, because, or at some sort of production. I just want to see it being done. I want to see what it'll do. I want to see the testing behind it, because this is the type of stuff that really gets me itching to see more of it. Now, a couple years ago, Driving for Answers did a video. Yeah, 3 years ago. So, sorry. There we go. So he did a video, carbon fiber inside the engine, how carbon fiber rods and pistons changed engines and why you can't have them. And yeah, as you can see on the big logo right there, that's Lamborghini. And like, just going into some of the diagrams he drew on how all this stuff works, it's just crazy to see like some of this stuff being used. And he goes into a lot more detail on how this is being done, and he goes into a lot more of the engineering and the strength, like all the strengths and the weaknesses of using forged carbon fiber for something like this. And like, he's got a way better knowledge of this than I do. And just to see like something like this being done, especially with Lamborghini getting behind it, is really cool. Now, I'm not going to play his video here because I recently got in trouble with copyright using Chevy's video for the ZR1 putting up the quarter-mile time. But I highly recommend going to see his video and learning for yourself, because it's really cool. And it's a heavy possibility that this is going to be the new thing that people are going to get behind. Like, yeah, here, where is it? Like, here's another one, 3D printed, like just showing off how certain things are being done in like the utmost weight reduced from the rotating assembly. Because like I have a feeling that we're just going to see, yeah, we're going to see a lot of weight reduction being brought in, and so on and so forth. But I believe this is a quote from Lamborghini. Yeah, this is a quote from Lamborghini in his video. The final price of our retail pistons and connecting rods is not yet determined, as it is still being worked out with distributors. However, the general price we are targeting is on the rough order of magnitude around $1,000 to $2,000 for a single piston or rod. So $8,000 to $16,000 for a set of 8 pistons and rods. Oh no, this is AWA. Right here. AWA Composites out of California. Sorry, I lied. That's not from Lamborghini. but seeing something like this being done is really cool. But coming from somebody who, you know, I built a couple engines in my lifetime, seeing the possibility of something like this being used on like a general application, like building a big block Chevy, Ford engine, making 600-700 horsepower. There is absolutely no way that these are going to be used by a consumer end product or a consumer based, unless you're pushing the absolute limits of your car, like in drag racing or time attack or something like that, where you need, this is a need more than a want. But for guys who build their cars for being weekend warriors, like taking it to the drag strip once a week, doing like 1 or 2 passes just to hang out with friends, or going to car meets, there is no reason that anyone should be buying this for an application like that. But if you're drag racing, time attack, hill climbs, like where you're pushing the very limits of your car, yeah, I could totally see somebody getting a set of these. But man, it's just insane to see something like this being done. As for the carbon fiber engine block, like I can only imagine that something like this is probably going to be upwards of probably $30,000-$40,000 just for the block, because like how insane it is, and the implication of how to machine something like this and how to build something like that. So I can't imagine this is going to be very cheap at all. Coming from my end of the spectrum with knowing like quote billet carbon fiber, where you're making the engine block and then throwing it in a CNC machine for all the finishing to bring everything into size. Now on average, job shops, CNC places, where you're like, hey, I need you to make this part. Okay, so you're paying on average about $150 to $200 an hour, depending on the material being used and the application, like how it's going to be machined. For something like this, with a material that nobody, 99% of the community does not have any experience in, and on top of that, the ability to throw it into at least a 5-axis CNC machine, like, again, doing a billet cylinder for a Honda TRX 450, doing one of those in a CNC machine costs the customer right about $1,000, doing a completely custom one, and they supplied the material. For something like this, yeah, dude, like I said, 30 to 50 grand minimum, absolute bare minimum, without knowing what the blueprint looks like, what the material does to your tooling, the hours to program it. This is going to be a massive change for the automotive community, but it is going to cost a lot of money to do that. Doing a full billet engine or a full carbon fiber engine with the connecting rods, like the block, and probably other things to go along with it. Like, I don't even know what type of cylinder heads you can use, because aluminum would heat soak the carbon fiber. I just don't know what that's going to look like. And I think we're probably 5 to 10 years away from having a functioning prototype involving something like this. If there is something like that already out there, it's going to be a while before we see something like this in action. But that doesn't excuse the fact that I'm excited for something like this, because this is a feat. This is a feat of engineering, a feat of material sciences, and it's going to be insane at the end of the day. But regardless, I'm getting out of here. I hope all y'all have a great day. I hope all y'all have whatever football team you're supporting does good today. At my end of the spectrum, I'm a Bills fan. If you're a Bills fan, we're all hoping today is going to be a good day. If it's not, and this ages like spoiled milk, I'm real sorry. But I'll see y'all Motorheads and Bumper Bunnies Tuesday. And I hope you have a great weekend. Adios. If I can hit the stop record button.